Chief Marshal Professor Wesley W. Marple will now lead the procession of the graduates.
Representatives of the university faculty will now take their places. Will all degree candidates and their guests please rise? Alexander Kern, Executive Director of the Center for Spirituality, Dialogue, and Service, will deliver the commencement prayer. After the prayer, let us all join in singing the first stanza of the national anthem, led by Jessica Litwin, class of 2017.
The ancient Hebrew scriptures remind us, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Compassionate God, you have gathered us here from many nations and many faiths for this brief, blessed time. Soon you will send us forth. We thank you for these, our beloved graduates, for the radiant light that illumines their lives. May they apply their knowledge and talents to fashion a world of justice and peace. We thank you also for our faculty and staff who have kindled our graduates' hearts and minds. We thank you, O God, for the parents, families, friends here today whose support and sacrifice have made all this possible. Help us, O God, in the days ahead to embody Northeastern's values in all we do to repair this city, this nation, this world, our fragile home. God bless us and keep us and make your face to shine upon us from this day on forevermore. Amen.
The color guard from the Army ROTC will now post the colors.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Steve Director, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to Northeastern University's 2013 commencement. On behalf of the faculty and staff of Northeastern University, I extend congratulations to all of you graduating today. This is truly a special day, and a day that I know that you, our graduates, and certainly your families, have dreamed of since you first applied for admission to this great university. It's a day of reflection on fond memories and a day full of promise as you think about your future. I hope that all of you truly enjoy today as members of Northeastern University's faculty have assembled with the students whom they have taught and recommended for academic degrees. The faculty and staff of Northeastern University are pleased to share this momentous occasion with you, your families, and friends. It is now my pleasure to introduce the president of Northeastern University, Joseph E. Aoun.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. You must be tired. How many of you slept more than 3 hours last night? Good afternoon. And welcome to our graduate commencement exercises. And thank you all for joining us today. Let me start by also recognizing the family of our commencement speaker who are here with us today. Where are they? On which side? I think the left side. Could you please stand and be recognized? Here, over there. Let's give them a round of applause. Some of them live in the Commonwealth. Some came all the way from Delhi. And please be seated, because let me tell you, we're delighted to have you with us. And at some point, I will come back and tell you a couple of stories about Nikesh that I got from them. So graduates, we are awed by your dedication and amazed by your achievements. Above all, we are excited about the future you'll create for yourselves and for all of us. Parents, friends, and loved ones, this is your day too. We know how deeply you share in the happiness of this occasion and how your love, advice, and sacrifice have made this day possible. Graduates, please rise, and let's thank your families, your loved ones for the support that they have given you. Turn to them. Thank you. Faculty colleagues, trustees, and university staff, today we also celebrate your immeasurable contributions to our university and to this graduating class. This day belongs to you as well. And to our speaker, our commencement speaker, Nikesh Arora, a very warm welcome back to your alma mater. We are proud and inspired by all you have achieved as a member of the Northeastern family. While we have much to celebrate, we are joined in the shadow of tragedy. We are feeling a conflicting mix of emotions: joy and pain, triumph and loss. Fortunately, we also draw strength from each other. Like many of you, and like our commencement speaker, I first came to Boston as a student. I arrived here from half a world away. Although I was a newcomer, Boston made me feel welcome. I was embraced by roommates, teachers, and neighbors. I will always remember how people went out of their way to make me feel at home. Many of the friends I made as a student remain my friends today. And the bonds I feel with them and with the city, this city, are unbreakable. 18 days ago, the character of our city was revealed to the rest of this world. It is a character based on 4 centuries of people arriving in search of new beginnings and a better life. Because Boston is a destination of hope for so many. It is a city infused with optimism and goodwill. Many people rose to the challenge on that fateful day, including a number of our nursing and physical therapy students who are here with us today. Thank you. Several of our PT students who are graduating today too were stationed with their advisors at the finish line to provide routine assistance to runners after the race. But when disaster struck, there was nothing routine about their response. They immediately put their education to use. And when confronted with the worst, they brought out their best. Please, join me in recognizing the bravery and selfless action of these students and faculty colleagues. Thank you. You are an inspiration to all of us. As educators, it is our duty to turn extraordinary events into teachable moments. There are 3 lessons I believe we can take from all the first responders. Takeaways we can carry with us when we leave here today. First, they put the needs of others before themselves. All of us have seen images of people tearing through the barricades to reach those who were wounded, at a time when it would have been understandable to seek shelter. They thought only of those who needed them so urgently. It's a measure of the bonds that unite us as a human family, that in a moment of chaos and desperation, so many people rush to help their fellow men and women. It is said that in times of crisis, our true selves are revealed. This crisis revealed the depth and character of those charged with keeping us safe, secure, and healthy. The second lesson is that the men and women who responded were prepared for the unknown and the unexpected, even when danger literally appeared out of nowhere. Let me share with you an email that Jen McBride, who graduated this morning, sent to her teacher at Salamanca. She wrote, "I never thought that I would use the first aid and stress management principles we learned in your class so soon in such a real way. I know that part of the reason I was able to respond quickly and calmly to help those injured and assist the physicians at the scene was because of my recent course. Thank you for the education and coaching you provided." What Jen told us, and what we heard from many of you, is that the strong foundation provided by her education helped her face the unknown and the unexpected. We often think of education as preparing us for a specific path. The most powerful aspect of education is that it prepares us for the unknown, even the unimaginable. Education allows us to meet challenges we haven't even conceived. A third takeaway is that even when individuals hurt us, the power of community heals us. After the attack, I visited several of our injured students in local hospitals. Each one of them was grateful for the emergency personnel who performed flawlessly in the midst of chaos. But each one also had stories of citizens who came to their rescue, giving aid and comfort at critical moments. This is the face of hope. And it is why attempts to destroy the fabric of the human family through violence never succeed. In this case, and many others, when the strands of humanity are strained, they ultimately are strengthened. There are countless lessons that can be taken from the responders and victims of the tragedy. These are three that resonate with me. They taught us to put the needs of others first. They showed us how to face the unknown and the unexpected, and they reminded us of the healing power of community. These are not just lessons that emerge in a crisis. In many ways, graduates, your education here helped you master these lessons. It has been my honor and that of my colleagues to walk with you on your extraordinary journeys. You are ready to take on the world, no matter where your individual path leads. I know you will carry this university and our city, your city, forever in your hearts. All of us will remain Northeastern together and Boston strong. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, President Aoun. Our alumni are important members of the Northeastern family. I now have the pleasure of introducing Jack Moynihan, class of 1993, and Vice President for Alumni Relations and the Northeastern Fund. Please join me in welcoming Jack to the podium.
Good afternoon, fellow Huskies. It is my privilege to welcome the class of 2013 to Husky Nation, a network of more than 210,000 Northeastern University graduates spread across the country and around the world. Today, you join a unique group of innovative, influential, and motivated leaders who have come before you. You have a tremendous opportunity to make your own impact, to blaze your own trail. I urge you to seize every opportunity that comes your way and make the most of it. The future is yours. You will forever be a part of the Northeastern family. You're a Husky for life. This is your university, and it always will be. Stay involved, keep in touch, and tap into our network of fellow Huskies. They're here to help, and one day you may play a critical role in helping those who will follow in your footsteps. We are truly excited about what the future holds. You are Northeastern. We have faith in your abilities and wish you great success. Maintain a lifelong connection to the university and celebrate all that it means to be a Husky. We're all in this together, you, me, and everyone here today. Now, please join me for our traditional pinning ceremony. And please welcome to the podium Marcella Simona Boila. Marcella is receiving her PhD in computer science from the College of Computer and Information Science. Class of 2013, please remove the pin from your card and place it on your fellow graduate to your right. This pin is a symbol of your hard work, determination, and accomplishments. We are all proud of you and thrilled to welcome you into our alumni family. Wear your pin proudly, and if you run into an alum who doesn't have their own pin, please pass yours along. I'll be happy to replace it. Congratulations, stay strong, Boston, and go Huskies.
Thank you, Jack. The honorary degree will now be conferred. It's my pleasure to introduce Henry J. Nasala, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Northeastern University.
Thank you. Mr. President, the Board of Trustees authorizes you to confer the honorary degree upon the following candidate in recognition of his notable achievement in his respective field. Nikesh Arora for the degree of Doctor of Commerce, escorted by Northeastern University Board of Trustees Vice Chair Carol Trapezian and Trustee Alan McKim.
It is my pleasure to call upon Northeastern University Board of Trustees Vice Chair Carol Shapazian to escort the degree candidate and Trustee Alan McKim to join me at the podium.
Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting Nikesh Arora for the degree Doctor of Commerce.
Thank you, Vice Chair Shapazian. Trustee McKim.
Nikesh Arora, Internet visionary, global strategist, innovative son of Northeastern. As a young professional about to embark on your career with Google, your depth of education, broad industry experience, and worldwide outlook gave you the leadership qualities needed for the success in the global technology realm. As the manager of Google's operations in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, you were the driving force behind the company's new products and partnerships, bringing the power of Google technology to millions of people in the developing world. And now, as Senior Vice President and Chief Business Officer, your vision of the Internet as a medium that will continue to drive the revolutionary change promises a continued wave of new ideas from a company that is synonymous with invention.
Nikesh Arora, in recognition of your commitment to the university's value of innovation and global partnership, Northeastern is pleased to bestow upon you the honorary degree, Doctor of Commerce. In recognition of this degree, Vice Chair Shapazian will vest you with the hood, and now I will present you with the diploma. You all know that the Internet changed societies in everything, from personal commerce to scientific research. The next challenge was to extend those opportunities to the emerging world. Our next speaker has done much to address that challenge. In his multiple roles at Google, he has been the driving force behind the company's new product and partnerships in emerging nations. His vision of the Internet's potential promises new innovations to come. He's a proud alumnus of our MBA program, and like many Northeastern graduates, he has succeeded by pursuing his passion to make a difference. His deep commitment to the university's values of innovation and global partnership inspire us all. Please join me in welcoming your commencement speaker, our alumnus, Nikesh Arora, Dr. Arora.
Thank you, President Owen. Good afternoon, graduates, and good afternoon, families, faculty, and staff. I was talking to President Owen earlier, and he said this morning is phenomenal. We had a great speaker. He was very humble from South Korea, and he was very funny. I want to warn you, I'm not going to be funny. Thankfully, Trustee Carol was very kind as we were walking here. She said, the morning was fun. People had balloons, their families were excited. The afternoon is a bit more serious. So I think you and I are just going to get along just fine. It is a pleasure to be back at Northeastern after 21 years. When you deliver a speech like this, you often wonder, what are you going to talk about? What kind of message can I give to all of you to carry forward from here? It's tough. You go back and forth in your head, back and forth, and suddenly the light bulb goes off, and you say, I know exactly what I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about suitcases. I grew up in India. I spent 22 years of my life over there. And one day I decided to pack my suitcase and come to America. And when I came here, all I had was my suitcase and $100. Well, actually, I had $3,100, but I'd borrowed $3,000 from my father. These were his life savings, and he'd given them to me. My goals were simple when I came here. I had to get through 2 years. I had to make sure I didn't run out of money. I had to make sure I did well, and I had to make sure I was able to return his money at some point in time. Reasonably simple. Failure was not an option. I had to find a way. And the way I found was here. Northeastern was my Ellis Island. It was the place, my new home, getting off the E-line on Huntington Avenue, looking for Dodge Hall with my suitcases. This campus, this school, is what introduced me to America. It introduced me to the culture, and first and foremost, what was going to be my future. And the key to it all was my suitcase, because there was a lot more in it than just some clothes. When I showed up, I had my dreams, my aspirations, my hopes, and more importantly, my skills that were going to propel me into my new life. That is what I had brought with me. I had all that, but I also had the belief of my family. My father had given me all his life savings. My mother was willing to let his son cross the seas, and my sister was sad to see her brother go. My family believed in me. They bet on me. They thought, I think they actually knew, that I was going to be okay. There are a lot of people who bet on all of you, and I think they're here with you today. Your parents, your husbands, your wives, your significant others, your children, and your friends who were there with you who probably took you to Connors for a drink, maybe 5 drinks, when you're having a bad day. I think this would be a good moment to pause and recognize their support and contribution in your graduating today. Not just families and friends, I think now is a good time to also talk about people who supported you and me while we were at Northeastern, and in your case, you'll be graduating today, so we're at Northeastern. The teachers who in simple ways guided you, guided me, helped us pack a lot more into our suitcases. In my case, it was Professor Harlan and Marjorie Platt. I had the privilege of learning from them. I had the privilege of working with them. I owe them so much. They even invited me to their home on Thanksgiving and made me feel extremely welcome. I'd like to do what I wasn't able to do well as I graduated from Northeastern. I would like to really turn around and thank the faculty and teachers for allowing me to be who I am and guiding me at that moment in time. I'm sure each of you has a professor or a teacher here who has helped shape you and who has helped guide you. Please make sure you do what I didn't get to do before I left campus. Make sure you go and share your gratitude with them. I know graduate school is a choice, unlike undergraduate school, where I think most of us end up going. You made an active choice at some point in your career. You looked in your suitcase and said, I'm missing something. There are some skills, something that I don't have. I need to go to graduate school. I need to get those skills. I need to fill up my suitcase because I need to go do something different. And now you're here. You've packed a lot of skills in that suitcase. So as you walk away from here today, I want you to think, what did I come to Northeastern with in my suitcase, and what am I leaving with? And don't forget, every time things change in life, make sure you take stock and say, do I have that in my suitcase? As I was talking to somebody earlier this morning, they turned to me and said, you're lucky. I said, what did I do? So you're lucky, you get to come make a speech and you get a degree. We had to work really hard for ours. We had to work for many, many years. I thought about it. Yes, I am lucky. But I've also spent 23 years packing my suitcase. So it's taken me way longer than you guys. You guys got yours in 4 or 5 years. It's taken me 23. So when you get out of here, you will go into many different fields. You'll go into finance, operations, marketing, computer science, management, consulting, all sorts of things. Some of you will start your own businesses. No matter what you do, you will start from the same place and end up in different places. So it's going to be hard for me to give you advice on what you should do from here. But I thought what I would do is I'll share some of the things I've managed to collect in my suitcase. So the first thing I want to talk about is if you set out to change the world or join people who aspire to change the world, you're more than likely going to make a difference. And I have the privilege and pleasure of working with the founders of Google. As many of you know, Google is not a normal company. We don't spend our time trying to solve incremental problems. We do something we call 10x thinking, which is we try and improve something by 10 times. Because if you set out to improve something by 10 times, failure is getting to 2 to 3 to 5 times. If you set out to improve something by 10%, you end up at a very bad number. So when you get out of here, use your power of imagination. Think about how to look at a problem that appears unsolvable and see if you can try and solve it. Think about turning it upside down on its head and see what you can do about it. It doesn't mean you're supposed to improve a solution that already exists. It means completely rethink the entire problem. A few years ago, I was on a plane with Larry Page, and we were flying over the desert in Nevada, where Burning Man happens. And he looked down, it was a clear day, and he said to me, "It's quite clear. We could get a much better visual representation of the United States if we flew small planes over the entire country." I said, "Why would we do that?" He said, "Well, you can get 25 centimeter type resolution instead of 50 centimeter, which you get from satellites." So in a few minutes, he's calculated on the back of a napkin, how long will it take, how many planes do we need, how much money would it cost to get a clear representation of the US. And some of you might be using a feature on Google called Google Maps, which allows you to do that. As we went up further, we were crossing a highway which was extremely congested. He said, "Do you realize because of human reaction times, there's 20% more capacity down there in the highway than people realize?" I didn't know that computers react 10 times faster in braking cars than you and I would. And hence, the beginning of the Google driverless car. I was talking to Elon Musk, who some of you might know as the founder of Tesla. He was over the other day and he says, I was telling him I have to come from New Delhi to Boston, which I did this morning. It took me 20 hours. He said, "Well, we're soon going to have something called the Hyperloop, which is a tube. I'll insert you from this end and you'll be at the other end 30 minutes. He wasn't trying to build a better car or a better plane. He was trying to change the future of transportation. In fact, he's famous for saying he wants to die on Mars and not by impact. So this is what I think you guys need to think. As you leave here, you have to think about how do you take a fundamental problem and change it. A big part of thinking 10x is learning how to live outside your comfort zone, is learning how to continue to take risk. I'm naturally restless. Every time I feel that something can be predicted, I stop and I change course. I get bored. Remember, it's okay to be bored. It's not okay to be boring. So in the height of the bull market, I was working in Boston in finance in 1999, and I could not make sense of the market anymore. I was on the buy side. And I decided to pack my suitcases again, and I left for Germany. And every day when I woke up, I would think, why did I do that? My life was predictable. I knew what I was doing. Why did I leave my family, take my suitcases, and head out to Germany? Because I wanted to do something different. I wanted to step outside my comfort zone. As we get older, as we go through life, we get more and more risk averse. As you go from your youth to your 20s to your 30s, and later, you have families, you have mortgages, you have kids, you don't want to move, you suddenly become more and more risk averse. I think what's important is as we progress through our careers, as we progress through our lives, it's important to not become risk averse. It's important to remember you always have to stay slightly outside your comfort zone. There's a quote that I love. It goes, "A ship in harbor is safe." But that's not what ships are built for. So don't go out there and stay in your harbor. Get out there and explore the world. Take disproportionate risk. Google would not have existed. Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, every new company out there would not exist if one or two people had not gotten restless, decided to leave everything they were doing, and stepped out of their comfort zone. So if you're thinking you're going to leave here and go into a comfortable job and life will be wonderful ever after, don't think that. Go out there and live outside your comfort zone. You guys are in an enviable position. You can take risk. That's what you should do. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't stepped out of my comfort zone multiple times in my life. If you don't jump, you're not going to land on your feet. If you're not brave, you'll never know. You're never going to know. I was with Derek Schmidt once in New York City, and we were talking about something basic, and he says, Nikesh, learn how to keep saying yes. Embrace yes, don't say no. Once you say yes, you always have the option of saying no later. When you say no, it's very hard to go back and say yes. It feels like you've lost face. So remember, say yes, you can always say no later. So that's not just the way our biggest problems are solved. The only way our biggest problems are solved if you step out of our comfort zone. You cannot make progress if you're not willing to solve problems of scale. You have to laugh at the impossible. Laughing reminds me of something else you guys should remember as you leave here. Laughing reminds me of having fun. What's very interesting is, as we grow older, we're taught the concept of work. Work has to be serious. Work has to be boring. If you're having too much fun at work, you're not working. There are work times and play times. When you're kids, now you have to work, now you can play. And slowly as we grow through our careers, it's ingrained in our lives that you have to work is serious, you go to work, you come back home, you relax, you have fun. You don't relax at work. It's a bad idea. I had a job where I wore a suit every day. I sometimes felt I was wearing a costume. When you wear a costume, you start behaving like the actor who's expected to behave like you are in the costume. If you take off your costume, you can be who you are. When you leave here, remember, life is about having fun, not just about work. Now at Google, we have ping pong tables and we have circular balls and lava lamps and all those fun things. But that's not what fun is. Fun is about enjoying your work. Fun is about making sure that you're solving big problems of scale. Fun is about trying to see if you can change the world. If you enjoy your work, you're going to have a lot of fun. It's not just about ping pong balls and lava lamps and round gym balls. So when you leave here, make sure that you're in an environment where you're having fun. As my daughter would say, YOLO. For those of you who understand what that is, very good. For those who don't, find somebody 16 years or younger. So as we talk about work and fun, what's important is to keep your inner child alive. When we're kids, we have lots of fun, we take risks. I don't know if many of you have kids yet, but if you do, you're always trying to stop them from running out in the street. You're always trying to protect them. You're always trying to inhibit their creativity. I work with a guy at work called Matt, and he's a creative type, and he writes for a living. And he said to me as a 3-year-old, and he says, every morning my 3-year-old comes up with a concept which breaks all barriers and extremely creative. And sometimes the mother tries to rein in the creativity, especially when you use crayons to write on white walls, then you rein in creativity. You don't want your walls written on. But his point to me was, he wishes that he was as creative as his 3-year-old today, because he works in a very creative field. So as you leave here, don't forget, you have childlike tendencies. We've spent years trying to train you away from them. Just make sure you can go find your inner child when you leave here. Now the question is, where do you go from here? I know many of you will go into different functions that we talked about, but I live and breathe technology. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about technology and the power technology has in our lives. I know President Aoun talked about Boston. Right now is a good time to mention that we are in Boston. You all have been the center of attention on a national scale. As scary as the events of the day of the marathon were, for people who were watching it from afar like me, I can only imagine what it must have been for all of you, real Boston strong. While we mourn the tragedy and senselessness of the bombing, I think it's also important, in a way, to celebrate some of the positive outcomes. The unity of a city, a nation, defiantly brought together by those who sought to break us apart. I'm sure you feel a sense of camaraderie with your classmates, with the city. Please hold on to that. That's rare. You should keep it as you progress through life. But it's also important to celebrate the impact of technology, the crowdsourcing, the digital imaging, the well-enabled citizen journalism that ended up not just catching the perpetrators, but also telling us the real story of what happened here. That's the thing. Technology is here. It's here to stay. I was sitting about 3 years ago with my father, and my daughter was trying to teach him how to use email, and he was resisting it. He says, I already know how to call you. I'll just call you. I don't have to learn how to email. And she sort of gave him an ultimatum and said, you want to stay in touch with me? You better learn how to use email. So now he uses email. And I was sitting in the other room listening to this exchange. And I live and work in technology. And I was kind of getting tired of every new app that shows up, every new thing that shows up. The day I figured one thing out, there's a new thing. Like she says to me, Dad, email is for formal communication, and Facebook is passé. Now the new thing is Instagram or Vine. So as I sat there and listened to that exchange, I reminded myself that I was not going to stop learning. I was not going to stop experimenting, because if you stop experimenting and stop learning, you run the risk of being passé, just like email. So please don't do that. We are in a world where technology is going to keep changing. It's going to move faster and faster. We're going to see a whole different social structure as a consequence of technology, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or whatever platform you have, Google+. Technology is going to change our life. So as you go out of here, even if you don't work in tech, I urge you that you stay tech savvy. Information has the ability to make us very different as a society, very different as every business out there. So as you leave here, I'm going to ask you to do a few things. First, make sure you bring joy to others through your work. Your most profound joy will come from them. Give the world what it doesn't even know it needs. Give it the Hyperloop. Make sure they can get from one place to another in 30 minutes. If you see it as a problem, it is a problem. If you find a flaw, go out and fix it. If you believe it's missing, go out and invent it. Don't just set out to change an office or company, set out to change the world, because you're more than likely to have an impact. Make sure that your adulthood is a happy childhood. With that, most importantly, keep packing new skills into your suitcase. There's no limit to what it can contain. You've already got so much in it, but please do not stop putting more in it. Take it with you everywhere and see how far it takes you. With that, congratulations, graduates, and good luck.
The degrees in course will now be conferred. Mr. President, it is my privilege to report to you that the candidates assembled here have qualified in all respects for the degrees in course. They have successfully completed curricula offered by the several schools and colleges of Northeastern University and have been recommended by the faculty and the Council of Deans to be awarded appropriate degrees in recognition of their academic accomplishments. After the candidates have been presented, members of the graduating class in each school or college, please remain standing until their degrees have been conferred. The candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, please rise. Mr. President, I am honored to present the candidates who have qualified in all respects for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University, I confer upon you and those who have properly qualified the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with all the honors, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining, and I would like to welcome you to the rank of scholars and doers. Congratulations.
The marshals will now present the Doctor of Philosophy graduates to the platform in order to receive their diplomas. I invite Senior Vice Provost Melvin Bernstein to introduce our Doctor of Philosophy graduates. The graduates received hoods from their advisors in our hooding ceremony yesterday.
From the College of Computer and Information Sciences, Marcella Simona Bobola. In the field of computer science, Human Javahari. In the field of computer science, Vlad Slavic. In the field of computer science, Demetrius Vardulakis. In the field of computer science, Laura Marie Vardulakis. In the field of computer engineering, Malak Ashwababke. From the College of Engineering, Fatima Osmandian. In the In the field of mechanical engineering, Parnian Bolori Zadeh. In the field of mechanical engineering, Xian Yuju. In the field of computer engineering, Rodrigo Dominguez. In the field of electrical engineering, Kabat Ebnabasi. In the field of electrical engineering, Rasul Gadami. In the field of electrical engineering, Zhangwei Hao. In the field of computer engineering, Leszek Lekowicz. In the field of electrical engineering, Georgios Malas. In the field of electrical engineering, Yair Mega. In the field of computer engineering, Prusayan Nitan Sovangsa. In the field of electrical engineering, Sohail Sadat. Go ahead. In the field of electrical engineering, Hana Ab Elmanan Sadaka. In the field of computer engineering, Masoud Zamani. In the field of mechanical engineering, Mehmet Ali Sen. In the field of mechanical engineering, Jiaye Shi. In the field of mechanical engineering, Ghulam Moin Udin. In the field of chemical engineering, Dwayne Andre LeVar Vickers. In the field of electrical engineering, Shi Wang. In the field of mechanical engineering, Jin Wang. In the field of mechanical engineering, Baran Yildirim. In the field of mechanical engineering, Jiun Yilmaz. In the field of interdisciplinary engineering, Li Jin Ni. In the field of interdisciplinary engineering, Jishua Yin. From the College of Bouvet College of Health Sciences, in the field of counseling school psychology, Lorianne Dickstein Fisher. In the field of pharmaceutical sciences, Namita Sudhir Tadwatka. In the field of pharmaceutical sciences, Mayor Kumar Chimanal Kalaria. Close, huh? In the field of counseling school psychology, Nina Lewis Schroeder. In the field of school psychology, Christina Marie Mule. In the field of school counseling psychology, Rebecca Parrish. In the field of pharmaceutical sciences, Mohammed Lafti Mohammed Nassar. In the field of pharmaceutical sciences, Rajiv Panwar. In the field of pharmaceutical sciences, Nirav Patel. In the field of pharmaceutical sciences, Robert Reilly. In the field of school counseling psychology, Julio Zapater. And from the College of Science, in the field of physics, Ari Adland. In the field of chemistry, Jumi An. In the field of physics, Kathy Churasiya. In the field of chemistry, Kinwan Dao. Oops. In the field of chemistry, Jing Fang. In the field of chemistry, Ian Kendrick. In the field of chemistry, Sulu Lu. In the field of chemistry, Wen Chin Ni. In the field of chemistry, Sefin Ochiana. In the field of chemistry, Vanit Kumar Sharma. In the field of physics, Zen Song. In the field of biology, Alamata Sulamana. In the field of chemistry, Zushi Wang. In chemistry, Fang Fei Yan. In the field of chemistry, Peng Cheng Yin. In the field of chemistry, Tianzhu Zhang. In the field of chemistry, Ji Zheng. In the field of physics, Kun Zhao. In the field of chemistry, Evgenia Zusser. From the College of Social Sciences and Humanities, in the field of English, Mary Balastracci. In the field of English, Jennifer Bankard. In the field of law and public policy, Dorothy Marita Chase Bausamer. In the field of history, James Bradford. In the field of criminology and justice policy, Christopher Bruel. In the field of political science, Chris Chaniyasulkit. In the field of criminology and justice policy, Deanna Dolliver. In the field of criminology and justice policy, Laura Gross. In the field of history, Andrew Jarbo. In the field of criminology and justice policy, Rebecca Pfeffer. In the field of English, James Ritchie. In the field of law and public policy, Jeanette Rico. In the field of criminology and justice policy, Danielle Russo. In the field of criminology and justice policy, Anamika Twyman Ghoshal. In the field of history, Zachary Scarlett. In the field of mechanical engineering from the College of Engineering, Hassan Aid. From the College of Social Sciences and Sociology, Sandra Aravala. In the field of law, policy, and society, Fabio de Sail Silva. In the field of chemistry, Shama Bajaj. In the field of chemistry, Ritesh Chikul. we done? Oops. Are we done?
All candidates for the master's degree, certificate of advanced graduate study, or professional doctorate will please rise. That's most of you. Mr. President, I have the privilege of presenting those candidates who have qualified in all respects for the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Science with Specification, Master of Architecture, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Public Administration, Master of Business Administration, Master of Public Health, Doctor of Audiology, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Doctor of Pharmacy, Doctor of Nursing Practice, and Certificate of Advanced Graduate Study.
Graduates, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of this university, I confer upon you and all those who have properly qualified the degree of Doctor of Audiology, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Doctor of Pharmacy, Doctor of Nursing Practice, Certificate of Advanced Graduate Study, Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Science with Specification, Master of Architecture, Master of Business Administration, Master of Public Administration, Master of Public Health. According to the curriculum in which you have qualified with all the honors, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Graduates, congratulations.
Will the graduates please be seated? The marshals will now present the graduates to the platform in order to receive their diplomas. We ask all graduates to return to their seats following receipt of their diplomas and remain seated throughout the rest of the ceremony. The family and guests should also please remain in the audience until the graduates have recessed. Will all of the graduates please rise? Please join in singing the alma mater, led by Jessica Litwin, class of 2017. Words and music are on the back page of the program. We invite all Northeastern alums in the audience to stand and sing our alma mater with us. Thank you, Jessica. Will all graduates please be seated?
Now it's time for me to give you the charges. And let me mention a couple of things first. I thought that Nikesh's speech was marvelous, and absolutely. And also, always remember the suitcase. Always remember the suitcase. One more thing. I learned my lesson today. I will never allow Trustee Shapazian to talk to a commencement speaker before his speech. Actually, Nikesh, I have a couple of stories about him. So his sister told me one. I tried to get her to tell me a story about him, and she said the following. When he was at T-Mobile, he used to give her phones, and she loved phones. And when he moved to Google, she asked him, so what are you going to give me? He said, that's very easy, a Gmail account. So Nikesh, I want mine too. Thank you. But I discovered now during commencement that the first Thanksgiving ever that Nikesh had was actually with, as he said, with Marjorie and Harlan Platt, who are here. They were listening to the live streaming of Commencement, and we ask them to be here, to come to the platform, to be recognized. And please do come, Harlan and Marjorie. Now remember, wherever you go, if you find somebody stranded or somebody new to this town or wherever you are, and she doesn't have anyone for Thanksgiving, we are counting on you. Do it. As a matter of fact, let me say something, Nikesh. I had exactly the same experience with my teacher. Exactly the same experience. And I tried to do it again, always, with the students. I was impacted, and thank you again, Nikesh, for a great, great commencement speech. You know, I can give you a long charge, but I think you don't need it. You demonstrated that we don't need it. All I want to tell you is one thing. You are no longer in our hands. We are in yours. Thank you for everything that you are going to do to change the world. As Nikesh said, think big, take risks, get out of your comfort zone, and you'll always have a place here that you can call home. He came back to be our commencement speaker. He will always have a home here, and you will always have a home here. Thank you. And once again, the faculty impacted you, your colleagues impacted you, and go and impact the world. Thank you very much. Graduates, I salute you.
Let's hear it one more time for the class of 2013. Will the graduates in the audience please remain seated and wait for the marshals to lead the graduates into recession? Thank you very much and have a great afternoon.